Hi, this is David Clark Carroll with the Nevada County Tech Connection. I'm joined tonight by Molly Nakahara, the Farm Institute Director for Sierra Harvest. We're here to talk about the Eco Farm Conference, Kiss the Ground movie screening, Sierra Harvest in general, and how tech's making farmers' lives just a little bit easier in 2020. Now, I'd like to start off just kind of introducing our viewers to Sierra Harvest. While many of you may be familiar with their great work and their origins in the Living Lands Agrarian Network, some of you may not. So, love love to hear the story, Molly.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here, David. It's great to be here. So Sierra Harvest was created when two different organizations came together to be one. We were the Living Lands Agrarian Network, which was an organization that was really built on a very grassroots level by farmers who wanted to create more opportunity for farming and for aspiring farmers in the Nevada County region. And then there was Live Healthy Nevada County, which was an organization that had been started really inspired by wanting to make sure that healthier food was getting into our schools, and that school lunch was something that kids wanted to eat, and was helping them be their best during the school day. And so those two organizations came together, and Sierra Harvest now works still on those, both school lunch and to support farmers, and we do actually a lot more in the community as well. Our broad mission is to transform lives and strengthen community through fresh, local, seasonal food. And so if you think about all the ways that people in our community eat and engage with food, and then where that food comes from and the way it's produced, we're sort of working in all those levels. And so we still have a big school food program, working with schools in the classroom and in the lunchroom. We have programs that I oversee to support farmers and ranchers in our community, to build successful businesses and find farmland and stay here and be farmers in our community. And then on a community level, we of course host a bunch of events to help people connect to farmers and connect with food. People might be familiar with our farm potlucks and soup night, which are events, of course, that we've had to postpone due to COVID, but we're still trying to connect people to their food and farmers. We have a great gleaning program that works to get food that maybe was going to go into the waste stream out to folks in our community through the Interfaith Food Ministry. And we have, of course, we have Sierra Gardens, which is our program that's helping people have their own food production gardens and learn how to garden. And we have, of course, very popular Food Love Farm, which is our educational farm at the Burton Homestead. And we have hundreds of kids coming through there every year. So lots of different ways to be involved. And of course, people can go to sierraharvest.org and learn more. We have a lot of programs. I'm sure I've forgotten to mention one of them, but in general, we're trying to embrace all of the ways that we come together and eat in our community and make sure that everybody has access to nutritious local food, and that the producers who are growing that food for us are successful.
Well, as someone who ate school lunch food in the early 90s, I'm really appreciative of you guys' involvement in the schools. I think that's just one of the coolest things about this whole project.
Yeah.
As well as, and this was the way I first became aware of you guys, connecting farmers with land. I think this is
Yep.
one of the things that, particularly in Nevada County, there's a lot of people with about 10 acres that, they never even set foot on.
That's
And
right.
really
Yeah, our community has been kind of, like many rural communities, broken up into smaller pieces. And so for farmers looking for land, sometimes it can be hard to find something because it's sort of hidden back in the woods. And that was something that we really brought on from Living Lands, just reaching out into the community. And hey, if you're watching this right now and you think you've got a piece of land that could be farmed, which in our mind is, somewhere around 5 acres, there's some irrigation water, maybe power, maybe fencing. even better a place maybe a farmer could live or park a trailer, definitely let us know, because we have farmers who want to lease that land from you. And so, yeah, if you go to sierraharvest.org, you can find that. We just have an intake form for landowners that you can fill out. And we've made some really successful matches, helping to keep farmers in our community who want to expand and grow larger businesses. And that whole program has sort of evolved now into the Forever Farms collaboration, which is this really exciting collaboration between the Briar Patch, the Tahoe Food Hub, Sierra Harvest, Mountain Bounty Farm, where we're working to really build long-term land security in our community for farmers. So this is like protecting the scarce farmland that we have and ensuring that it can be farmed for generations.
Now, is that operating kind of on the land trust model, or?
Oh, of course, that's the Bear Yuba Land Trust is our main partner.
Okay.
They sort of hold a lot of it. The Bear Yuba Land Trust has done so much to protect a ton of land in our community already. And now with this collaboration, they're really focusing on protecting specifically crop land, like farm where fruits and vegetables are grown. They also protect a lot of ranches, and there are ranches in the Forever Farm program as well, but we want to also expand that protection to cropland.
Well, that's just fantastic. Whole lot to unpack there. Now, want to spend a little bit more time talking about how do you connect with the farmers who want to lease this land? Is it online? Is it
Yeah.
How do you connect these people with the land?
I mean, we're trying to connect to farmers in every way that we can. I mean, so much of agriculture is that culture piece, right? That it's this sort of shared community process that we're engaged in on so many levels. Like everyone's a part of it. If you eat food, you're part of this system. And so in terms of connecting to our farming community, we are on social media. We're trying to create networks for farmers to connect to each other. So we host a lot of events where farmers can connect to each other, and people find us, and a lot of it is through the internet. I mean, I think a lot of the way that farmers connect to us is through our website and through Facebook and Instagram and our YouTube channel and all these other ways. And so that's actually a lot of how I find new farmers in the community, or people who are aspiring farmers, as they'll be searching online for sort of opportunities and ways to learn, and they'll come to us through an email. So there you go, technology supporting farmers, and helping people connect. But we're just trying to spread the word. I think we rely a lot on our alumni farmers in the community who've been connected to us. They're talking to somebody and they say, hey, you should check out what Sierra Harvest has got going on. And we're not the only, farmer support organization. There's a bunch of them out there, and we're all networking with each other as well. And so, there's a lot of oh, you're in that region, I could send someone to a partner organization if they're not necessarily in our region. And those partner organizations are doing the same to us.
Partner organization is a great segue to talking about EcoFarm.
Right.
EcoFarm is the platform that's hosting this ag conference coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's right. So EcoFarm was actually created. This is a great moment to remember one of the most incredible heroes of organic agriculture, amigo Bob Cantisano, who lived here in our community, who we just lost to an 8-year battle with cancer. His legacy is so deep, as we know in this community. And one of the things that amigo Bob did was he created the EcoFarm conference. This year will be our 41st EcoFarm conference, and Amigo started it long ago, just a group of farmers who wanted to learn more about organic agriculture and wanted to connect with each other and wanted to kick up their heels and have a little party in the winter. And it has evolved since then to be one of the largest gatherings of focused on eco-agriculture, regenerative agriculture. It's definitely one of the largest gatherings, I think, on the West Coast, maybe even in the country. Happens every January. It's usually down at a Silomar in Monterey, and which makes it like a little bit tricky for farmers in our area to get to. That's like a big commitment, and it costs a lot of money. But this year we're going virtual, and so everybody can go, which is so exciting. I mean, it's much more affordable, and people can go from their own homes, so you can still take care of your farm and attend this conference at the same time. And Sierra Harvest is thrilled to be collaborating. We're working with EcoFarm to co-host the event. January 20th through 23rd. It's all online, and it's not just for farmers. It's really for anybody who is interested in learning a little bit more about agriculture, and particularly agriculture's sort of potential to mitigate climate change. I mean, if all the farmers in the world switched to sort of these regenerative models of agriculture, we could sink a ton of that carbon in the atmosphere into our soils and have healthier, more productive farms. So it's kind of it's a really hopeful and exciting thing to learn more about. And so I encourage everyone to check it out. You can go to the Sierra Harvest website I mentioned, sierraharvest.org, and there's a link to the conference, or you can go straight to eco-farm.org and learn more about it there.
And I'll put all those links in the video description, so it'll be nice and easy for folks to find it.
Awesome.
So it sounds like there's some real advantages to it being online this year. In spite of the inability to gather, it seems like maybe some more folks will be able to engage who normally couldn't.
Yeah, that's our hope. I think one of the great things about technology and the internet is that we all kind of get to be in the same place at the same time. So as isolated as we might have all felt during this pandemic, there are these opportunities to connect, and you know, we don't really know what it's going to look like, but luckily the platform we're using has some really great features. So it has a main stage where we're going to hear, you know, 15 keynote presentations by incredible speakers, thought leaders in the ag world. Then there's a separate section where people will have the chance to attend different workshop sessions and ask questions through the chat and connect to each other. There's going to be a virtual expo. So, you know, a big part of going to farm conferences, especially, is like walking the expo booth and stopping at the seed companies and checking out the greatest, latest in, you know, finger weeders and, you know, grabbing a cup of coffee and chatting with people. So there's going to be this sort of virtual expo that's actually going to have live sessions where you can talk to the different people. Sierra Harvest will have a booth there as well, of course, so you can pop in and chat to us, learn more about Sierra Harvest. And then the really cool thing that this platform that we're using to host the conference, it has this networking feature where you can just basically meet anybody who's in attendance at the conference, or you can scroll through and find your friends or find people you remember meeting before at a conference. And it's a really great way to sort of connect in real time with people who are going to be scattered across, you know, the state, the country, the world. So that's it. That's different. You know, the online conference is breaking down a lot of the barriers that maybe kept people from being able to attend the conference. So we're hopeful that it's going to be fun, and, you know, of course, it's a lot to look at a screen and digest a bunch of information. And luckily, we're going to be making the content of the whole conference available to view for a long time after the conference ends. So if people are there and they're feeling like, oh, they need to go take a walk outside and they miss a session, no big deal. They're going to be able to watch it later whenever works for them. So that's also a great feature.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I was hoping to have, equally balanced pluses and minuses, but I'm just hearing an awful lot of pluses here.
There's
Uh,
some
I
minuses.
mean,
I
we all miss people, but
mean,
it's nice to be able
people,
to take in a conference and not feel tied to the conference,
yeah, yeah,
particularly 3 days online it's quite a lot.
yeah.
Now, what uh, what are you looking forward to most on those main stage speakers? Was there
Mm.
anybody that you were kind of surprised was able to make it that usually doesn't come that far?
Um, well, there's a few people that I'm thrilled to get to hear. And yeah, they'll be joining us. Two of them will be joining from across the country. So one is John Kempf, and he's an Amish farmer who has done a huge amount of work to spread information about regenerative forms of farming and ranching. So this idea that through our farming practices, we can actually enhance ecosystems and build soil life and capture more carbon in the soil and increase the soil's ability to hold water and it's just incredible what agriculture is capable of if there's certain sort of practices that are followed. And so he's going to speak more about that. And it's exciting. Well, he has a lot of podcasts and interviews, but because of his belief system, he you don't see his face, which is fascinating, I think, and also really beautiful that we are bringing sort of people with all these different belief systems on the screen. So people might be familiar with sort of John Kemp's icons. So John's going to be speaking about regenerative ag. Another person is Reggie Marroquin. He is another proponent of regenerative ag, and he's going to be talking specifically about sort of decolonizing regenerative ag. There is a big conversation happening right now about how these methods of land management are based in large part on indigenous wisdom and knowledge and practices that have been held for time immemorial by Native communities, and how all farmers can acknowledge that and bring more of that indigenous wisdom into their practices in a way that pays homage to the origins of the information. So I'm thrilled he's going to be joining us. He's a very dynamic speaker. He focuses on sort of poultry systems, and that's always I raise livestock, and so I love having livestock speakers. And the other really great speaker on the main stage is Rupa Maria, who people might have heard of her band, Rupa and the April Fishes. I know she's played in Nevada County before. She is a doctor at UCSF, and she is going to tie in sort of how regenerative agriculture and our health are so interconnected. And I love that when we can when we can tie these bigger concepts into sort of personal health, planetary health, personal health. So those are three of the keynotes that I'm really excited about, but there's tons more. I think there's 15 total keynotes. So there's a lot of information at the conference.
Well, that's super cool. Let's bring it back a little bit to soil now. One of the things that Sierra Harvest is doing leading up to this conference is screening Kiss the Ground, a film currently on Netflix, directed by Ryland Engelhart. And we'll have a Q&A with him up as well. Can you talk a little bit about that film and how you chose it and what speaks to you from it?
Well, when you start digging into agriculture, the climate crisis, the way we eat, factory farming, the history of how we've gotten to where we are now. It's a huge amount of information. It can be very overwhelming, and it can feel, I often feel this way, like hopeless. Like how is there possibly any way we can fix this massive problem? And Kiss the Ground offers us, first of all, it condenses that information in a way that is really easy to digest. I watched it with my 6-year-old son, and he was like jaw dropped. He cried at times. I mean, it's like it gets into the deep despair that sometimes we feel, but he also was grasping this idea of sequestering carbon from the atmosphere through agriculture, and so it's big concepts, presented in a way that's easy to digest, and then it is incredibly easy, tangible, hopeful solutions that we can engage in, namely knowing where our food comes from and the way that it's produced, and that simple act of eating is actually the biggest our greatest hope for solving climate change. So it's an incredible film. It's very inspiring. It is full of information. It's fun to watch for all ages. And we're thrilled to be promoting this community watch of Kiss the Ground. We want everyone to watch this film, and then we want everyone to go out and get to know their farmers. And yeah, we're going to talk with Ryland, who is one of the producers of the film, and he's also the executive director and co-founder of the Kiss the Ground organization, which has like a huge amount of other information, ways to get involved, community toolkits, so that we can continue doing this good work here in Nevada County of solving the climate crisis right here.
Very cool. And again, I'll make sure to get those links in. So if anyone wants to just click right through and see what we're talking about, be nice and
awesome.
easy to.
Thank you.
I don't want to keep you too much longer here. I know you talked with Ryland earlier today, so I don't want you to get too zoomed out here. Sounds like there's a lot of exciting things coming up. Anything else that Sierra Harvest is doing that you want the community to know about? We got you.
Sure. Well, of course, so we want everyone to watch this film with us. We want everyone to come to the conference or to share the conference with anybody in their lives who's maybe interested in agriculture. And then for folks watching who are interested in pursuing a potential farming career or side business, we starting on January 28th, we host a business class for beginning farmers. So, you might be able to grow great stuff in your garden or raise amazing eggs and livestock, but learning to turn that into a business, which is really how we can continue to have great farming in our community, is to have successful farm businesses where people can make a good living as agriculturalists. It's a critical piece. So it's a class sort of for beginning farmers who have a farm dream or maybe are a few years into production and need to understand the numbers of farming a little better. So we go over how to sort of plan an entire season, project what you might be able to grow and earn and sell. It's 7 classes, and every class it's going to be online once again, so you can join from wherever you are. You don't have to just be in Nevada County. You could be an aspiring farmer anywhere. And each class, we're going to be joined by a farmer in the community who's going to talk a little bit sort of about the topic of the class. And for me, that's always the best way to learn. Like, you got to learn from the farmers who are doing it. And so we bring a lot of farmers into the class. And so the course is called Farm Biz. You can learn more about it and register for it on our website, sierraharvest.org.
And is that going to be a weekly class? Or?
Yep, weekly. It meets every Thursday starting January 28th, and I think it's like 2 to 5 in the afternoon.
Cool. So it gets everyone up to speed for planting season.
That's right. That's our hope.
Well, fantastic. Thanks so much for talking with me. So David Carroll with the Nevada County Tech Connection is joined by Molly Nakahara, Farm Institute Director at Sierra Harvest. Hope you enjoyed.